I finally did it. I bought the Omega Speedmaster Professional Hazelight version, the legendary Moonwatch, the watch that is certified by NASA for all manned space missions. My mission now is to see how long this watch will stay in my collection. For very long, I hope. But this is the watch I was very much conflicted about, and honestly, I feel like I still am. As I continue curating my collection, I hope I am not kidding myself, I think it was a rational purchase. From the watch collector's point of view, of course, because there is nothing rational in buying any expensive watch. Many of you probably say that there is nothing to be conflicted about the Speedy, and you'd be right. The watch is an absolute icon and should be in any watch collector's or watch enthusiast's collection. Here are the things I am not so sure about. Wait, not yet. Let's take it step by step. What I got is the most current Speedmaster model with the upgraded case, dial and movement. What's in the package? I do like Omega boxes. They really do it well, unlike some other luxury watch brands. Thinking about you, Rolex and Cartier. The current model box is not the monstrously large one that the previous Speedmaster Pro generation had. It's a reasonably sized box that has a travel box inside, which is nice and useful. You also have your warranty book, regular Omega cards, and a nice book with a brief history between Omega and NASA. In general, the package is quite simple but thoughtful and nicely done. I got the watch on the strap, so there is no additional NATO or any other straps, which I would appreciate. I think I may end up with ordering a bracelet for the watch, but so far I enjoy playing with different straps. I removed the original strap almost right away, and because it doesn't have a quick release function, I kept it in the box. Here are some strap combinations I have used so far. What are your thoughts on them and which would you recommend to try? Anyway, here are the main specs of the watch and the measurements. Case size 42mm, lug to lug 47mm, thickness 13.2mm, lug width 20mm, domed Hazelight crystal with Omega logo, water resistance up to 50 meters and non-screw down crown. It's powered by the Omega 3861 coaxial movement. It's an anti-magnetic manual Windmaster chronometer chronograph with 50 hours of power reserve. I am not going to go too deep into it, but there are a few nice upgrades that the new Speedmaster 3861 got compared to its predecessor 1861. The first one is under the hood. The movement got upgraded to an anti-magnetic for up to 15,000 Gauss master chronometer with a coaxial escapement. It also has +5 over 0 seconds per day plus hacking seconds. The watch has a step dial. It's a small detail, but it makes a visual difference. The minute hand and chronograph seconds hand edges are curved, which adds character to the watch and readability. I love it when watches have that feature. The bracelet also got much better. The new 5-link bracelet is tapered, lighter, and more comfortable. That's why I am thinking of purchasing the bracelet separately. The water resistance rating is a topic of many internet battles, but Omega has kinda put an end to it. According to the brand, their rating is accurate, and 50 meters means actually 50 meters. This means you can swim with Moonwatch, just don't go diving and don't use chronograph. Even Omega Deville with 30 meters should be fine for casual swimming. So how was my experience with the Moonwatch so far? I would say the watch wears a bit smaller than the specs suggest, the dial is pretty large and substantial on the wrist, but the shorter lug to lug really helps. It's an easy watch to wear. Very comfortable on the wrist and goes great with almost anything, especially if you spice things up with different straps. I was wearing this Speedmaster very often. Now it competes with the IWC Mark 18 for the second place in the collection. You need to develop a new habit with manual wind movement. A minute of meditation in the morning. You miss a couple of days of winding and the watch stops. But the watch doesn't have a date complication or screw down crown, so setting up the time is pretty easy. I like that while being an icon, the watch doesn't draw any attention to it, unless you meet another watch enthusiast. The chronograph is sharp and snappy, but I don't use it often. When I did my review of the previous generation of the Moonwatch, I said that it's not a luxury watch. I stand by it with this model as well. The watch costs like a luxury product, but it looks and feels more like a tool watch. And I think it's great. It's a professional tool and it looks like one, hence Speedmaster Professional. The modern Omega Seamaster looks more like a shiny luxury watch compared to the Speedy. Now, why I'm conflicted about this watch. Since I got the watch sickness virus a long time ago, I always liked and admired Speedy. Undoubtedly, it's an icon and one of the most important watches in history. But the watch was never on my roadmap. It was always something better and more suitable for me out there. But back then, the Moonwatch was very well known, but still was very known to watch geeks mostly. Today, I feel like the watch is overexposed and probably overhyped. The model definitely deserves it, but I wish it didn't become that popular. It was hard for me to cope with the current Omega prices. When you remember how much it cost, even 5 years ago, it's hard. But price increases are inevitable. I do understand it. At least Omega did some upgrades to the watch, unlike JLC, which raised their reverso prices like crazy with no additional value. So considering the iconic status or other watch brand prices, I think that prices are quite fair. Always ask ADs for discounts. Boutiques wouldn't do it, but ADs may give some 10% off. I like how many chronograph watches look, and Omega is definitely one of the best out there. But I have little use of the feature. If anything, the date or GMT complications are more useful for me. I've had other chronograph watches before this Omega, and I rarely use the feature. Hazelite Crystal. I like the Hazelite version, but I don't like it scratched. I saw what they could become. I guess the benefit of it is that it can be polished, but still, I am more careful when I wear the Speedmaster. It's been good so far, and I can see only a few tiny hairlines on the crystal. Curious if anyone else has similar thoughts and feelings toward Omega Speedmaster Professional. I recently made a video about my collection and 6 watches that I actually wear. In that video, I was reflecting on those pieces and where to go next with the collection. I mentioned that Speedy is one of the watches I wanted to add to my collection. Maybe now I would go down the path of trimming my collection even more. At the end of the day, maybe my Rolex Explorer 2 and this Speedmaster can be a perfect 2-watch collection.